Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another Maths Grade 5 lesson. We are currently in week 9. Let me just see if you guys can hear me. Just type a yes. And remember to please answer to Chatty, not to the main host, or not to Marilet Geldenhuis, but to Chatty. That's easier for me to see your answers. Please don't join with your camera for your own safety. We don't want you guys to be in any danger. So keep your cameras off, guys. It's not for our sake, it's for your sake. Right. Today, let me just see. Here's my picture, Marilet Geldenhuis. We will be looking at division today. I hope you have touched on division before because it's quite a big topic. We actually need a few lessons to just get started with division, but I hope I can send you in the right direction today so that you can get going on your own. After this week, you will most probably have another maths teacher. But I'm looking forward to spending these last 2 days with you. Today we will do division, and remember, tomorrow we are playing Kahoot. So you need to bring that other device that we spoke about, but we will speak about that again at the end of this lesson. Right, so at the end of today, you will know how to do division of a 3-digit number by a 2-digit number. So that just means it will be something like 872 divided by 27. So anything with 3 numbers divided by something with 2 numbers. Right, and then I will show you how to estimate an answer and how to use multiplication as a tool in division. So I think you guys know what multiplication is, and we can, it's a very effective tool to use in division, because if you don't know how to multiply, you will definitely not know how to divide, because they are opposite functions, but they work on the same principle. So for this first slide, I want you guys to try and estimate. So we can't spend too much time on this, but I just want to go through the thought process with you. There's a lot here. I'll just keep an eye on the time so that I won't go through everything, but I do want to show you. So we look at this number over here, 950. Every time it's 950. So I have to say 2 times what is at least 950. So here we have to find that missing number, and I want you to estimate. So you are not using a calculator, you're not doing accurate division or calculations, you are just estimating, because we want to teach you how to kind of get in the right range with your answer, so that you know when you do your accurate calculations, if you first estimate it, then you can quickly check if your answer is even in the correct range according to your estimate. Right, so let's quickly talk about how you will estimate this. So if we're working with one small number that goes into a larger number, so there's 950, 2 times what? So then I use the opposite, because there I see multiplication. But in order to get the missing number, I need to divide 950 by 2. So this one is a little, well, actually, it's between 950 and just under 960. So it doesn't include 960. So from 950 all the way up to 959, that can be your answer. So if you had to estimate this, I will quickly just, with this one, it's easy because it's divided by 2. So in my head, I will go 900 divided by 2 is 450. Right, and then I haven't divided 50 by 2, that's 25. So the smallest number here will be 475, because it's 450 plus 25. So if I had to estimate this, I will start with 475, but see also the next one the next four numbers will work because if I multiply 479 by 2, I will get to 958. I cannot include 480 because that will be 960 times, or that will be 960 divided by 2. And I said here, it has to be less than, it cannot include. Right. So guys, remember, just because you see a multiplication sign over here, it doesn't mean you have to multiply. Think about it. I'm going to write something here, but it's going to be very ugly because I can't use a stable mouse. Let me see. If I say 2 times 3, what is 2 times 3? Quickly send me your answers. What is 2 times 3? All right, here we go. Faith, Bushle, all of you, Sakura, you said the answer is 6. But if I say 2 times something is 6. Can you see that here I shouldn't multiply? I shouldn't go, okay, 2 times 6, that's 12. No. If I look at the top one and I look at the one underneath, that means I should divide. That's why I said multiplication and division, they are opposite. I should divide 6 by 2 and then I get the answer 3. Do you understand that? So if it's 2 times something, then you know this number is still the smaller number because the answer will be the bigger one. So you take the bigger one divided by one of the small ones and you get the other small one. Let's just do one more because I scribbled all over the place now. 3 times what is 950? 3 times what is 950? So here, I'm just sharing my thought process with you. 3, if I take, so I have to divide. Remember, we just spoke about opposite. We're using, you see a multiplication sign, but you are actually going to divide. So I have 950. Quickly tell me, very quickly, what is 900 divided by 3? That's an easy one, guys. What is 900 divided by 3? Let me erase this. Anybody? Do you know? 900 divided by 3. It's the same as 9 divided by 3, but you just add 2 zeros. There we go. Yes, many of you said 300. That is correct. So 900 times 3, 3 times 300 will be 900, but then I still have 50. So you have to divide 50 by 3. For this one, I will actually go to the bigger number, 60. Because 60 is easy to divide by 3. 60 divided by 3 is 20. But now I know I cannot include that because it has to be less than 960. So if I had to estimate, the first answer I would give would be 319. Just a quick guess because it's one less than 320. Let's see if you said any of those, 317, 318, and 319, that'll be correct. I think let's skip through all these because I really actually want to get to the division. Right. Multiply well. So if you cannot multiply, guys, you will not be able to divide. Remember, they are opposites, but you use the same. If you know your numbers, like 2 times 3 is 6, you will know that 3 divided by 2 is 6 divided by 2 is 3, and 6 divided by 3 is 2. So you need to know these numbers, guys. You need to know your multiplication up to, I don't know what you guys do in school, but it's a good thing to know from 1 times 1 all the way up to 12 times 12. Who of you know your multiplication tables? Let me quickly see. There we go. I have some people, Sakura, Monique, Ethan. Yes. Great. Faith says, I know it off by heart. So I want you guys to be like that. You actually don't have to think about, if I say, what's 5 times 6? 6, you need to know immediately without thinking that the answer is 30. Or if I say 9 times 6 or 9 times 7, 9 times 9, you need to know exactly what the answer is, because if you know all the small numbers, you can work out the larger numbers very quickly. Right, so let me show you. Now, here are 4 multiplication sums. A, B, C, D. All of them use a 2-digit number multiplied by another 2-digit number. But the second, luckily for you, the second 2-digit number has a 0. So that makes things a lot easier. Let's see what we do here. So the first thing we will do, because everybody knows how to multiply by 10, right? You just add a 0. Guys, I don't want you to go ahead of what I'm doing because I want to describe the process to you. The first thing that you will have to do in your mind is 23 times 10. Do you understand why I'm doing that? Because here I have to get to 20, but maybe 20 will take me longer to multiply. So if I just add a 0, that's quick, right? So 23, I add a 0, then I've multiplied by 10. So 23 times 10 is 230. And what do I do with that now? I multiply my answer, because this one is only times 10. But if I multiply that by 2, then I will get to 460, which is the answer to this sum. So I will break this 20 up into 10, and then I just double. So 10 times 2. All of you you know how to halve numbers, you know how to double. So we are working with that today. You're adding zeros and doubling and halving. That is the most important processes for you when you are doing multiplication and division. Let's look at the next one. So 43 times 20. So what's the first thing you will do? What's the first thing? There we go. Just add an extra 0. So I will say 43 times 10 is 430. And then my next process will be to double that number. Double means to multiply it by 2. Do you guys understand? So I'm doing this. There we go. So what's the first thing you will do at number C? There's 17 times 40. Please write it out for me quickly that I can see how you will start. Don't just give me the number. What is the first thing you will do if I said work out this one, number C, 17 times 40? How will you start your sum? If you just give answers, I'm not even going to look at it, because here is all about the process. What are you doing to get to your answer? If you know how to do that, then you can do anything. But if you just write the answers, maybe I know you can get to this answer, but what about something else that's similar? What's the first thing you will write down? If this was a question in your exam, guys, if you are struggling to find the multiplication sign, you could just use an X. Use an X on your computer. I'm still not seeing any answers. Can you guys still hear me? I'm wondering where everybody disappeared to. Okay, some people say they lost the connection. There we go. Favor said 10, 17 times 10. That is our first step. So those of you can use the same one. Stand. Let's just see. So the first thing you always, if you see 17 times 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, anything like that, the first thing you will do is to multiply by 10, and then we will go from there. So 17 times 10, that is 170. That's 10. I need to multiply it by 40. So what's the next thing I do? I double it, right? If I double it, now I'm in your mind, you're thinking, okay, this one is multiplied by 10. This one is multiplied by 20. And what happens if I double it again? I get to 40. Are you guys with me? So we start with 10. Just look at that. If I say 10 times 2, that is 20, right? If I say 20 times 2, then it's 40. That's why I keep on doubling. I double there and I double there. So times 10, and then if I double it and I double it again, I'm at 40. Let's try the next one. 37 times 30. Quickly tell me what's the first thing that you will do. You can type the answers to Chatty. What is the first thing you will do, guys? If I have 37 times 30. There we go. I have some answers. I see some people are lost a little bit. Don't understand. All right. So those of you who don't understand, please look at the screen over here. This is what we are doing right now. We are doing 37 times 30. Now you won't have a calculator to calculate this. This is what I'm showing you how to use doubling to get to the answers and just adding zeros. Who of you guys who don't understand, I'm guessing that you know how to multiply by 10, right? If I say 2 times 10, you just add a 0, then it becomes 20. If I say 20 times 10, you add another 0, then it becomes 200. If I say 200 times 10, you add another 0 and it becomes 2,000. Are you guys with me? So the first thing I do when I see something like this, I will break it up. So there's my 37. I write down 37 and I multiply it by 10 first. Okay, here, this one, let me go back. 17 times 10, you write 170. Can you see there I add the 0? But I need 17 times 40 if you look at this one. So this is not my answer. I need to double it again. When I double it, then I've worked out 17 times 20. And when I double it again, I've worked out 17 times 40. The last one is a little bit different because now I have 30. So I can either go 370 times 3, which might be a little bit hard, or I can go in my mind, all right, so 37 times 30, I can take away the 7 first because that makes it a little complicated. So in my head, I'm doing 30 times 30, and that is 900. And then I will take the 7 by itself and multiply it by 30. And then I will get to the answer, which is 1,110. So those of you who don't understand, all I'm trying to do right now is to make the sum a little bit easier, because if I just tell you 43 times 20, you might not know how to get to that answer. So I'm trying to break it down so that there's a process in your mind, that you have a starting point. I want you guys to know where to start. So you can start by multiplying by 10 and then you can figure out from there. But the last one, unfortunately, it's a little bit different because in my mind, I'm thinking, what's the shortest way? So if I have 37 times 30, I'm going to say to myself, that means 30 times 30, here I have it, and also 7 times 30, because that 30 plus that 7 is 37. So if I write out this, all of this, it means the same as 37 times 30. But if I just have to calculate 37 times 30, I would not know what the answer is. So I need to break it down. I go 30 times 30, that's easy, right? Because 3 times 3 is 9. There we go. And I have a 0 here and I have a 0 here. So it's 2 zeros that I add. I hope you guys understand this. And then what's left is 7 times 30. So forget about the zeros first. You just do 7 times 3. All of you should know by now that it is 21. And then I see, oh, I have 1 0, and I put my 0 there. And then I just add this number to this number. That one should be 900. Oopsie, there's a mistake. 900 plus 210 equals 1,110. Okay, guys, if you don't understand, it's okay because we will practice it a few times. Now, this is what I actually want to get to. I want to show you how to do a division sum. Now, those of you who've told me that you are totally lost, this is the moment where you actually need to drop everything and just look at the screen. All right, I'm going to guide you through 4 of these sums. So don't get frustrated when you don't understand it at first. Let's do the next one. Maybe you understand the next one or the next one or even the last one. So I will not go back at the moment because this is the same thing that we've done. I'm just going to repeat it. If I go back right now, then we really won't have time to do the most important thing of this lesson. But if you can do what I'm doing now, then you can do the previous pages. So those of you, please, if you don't have a piece of paper or a pencil or pen, please go get something quickly. Yes, please go get a notebook, go get a pencil, go get a pen. So if you've talked to your parents about division, maybe they've told you, oh yes, when we were at school, we did long division. So long division, we used to do in a certain way, but then you work from the smallest number to the biggest number. Like if you have 483, you'll start on the right side and you'll work your way to the left side. But nowadays, you guys do it a little bit differently. You guys work with multiplication all the time. You work with multiplication to get to the answer of the division sum. So if you look at the screen, you will see 483 times 23. So pretend this is your question paper, and this is what your teacher wants you to work out. Now, I don't know about you, but if I just look at that, I'll say, I have no idea what the answer is. But if you just spend some time on it, you will see that it's not that hard. Right, so the first thing we do, and this is what I want all of you to do right now, we will write out a clue board. Every sum has its own clue board. Okay? There's the clue board. So we use this number. We use the smaller number because remember I told you there's a 3-digit number. That's 483. And then we have a 2-digit number that is 23. So we will take the 2-digit number, the smaller number, and we will use that in our clue board. So in your clue board, you will have 10 times that number. There we go. That's the one we start with. Write out 10 times 23 because there's your 23. I want the clue board to say 10 times 23. Then in my mind, I'm going to double it again. So from this number, 230, if I double it, I get 460, and that is 20 times 23. Now, just keep an eye on the big number here. You need to get to 483. The reason why I didn't double this number again is I don't need to get to 800 or 900. So I will stop right there. Just 10 times 23 and 20 times 23. Do you guys get it? Then to get to some smaller numbers, I will also include 5. So what's the easiest way to work out 5 times 23? Go back to your first one here. Because 5 is half of 10, right? So if I go from 10 to 5, that means I halve the number. So the same thing I will do to get from 230 to this answer. So you, in your clue board, that's really not something that takes you a long time, because 10 times 23, you just add a 0. 20 times 23, you double the answer. 5 times 23, you halve your first answer, see? And then with 2 times 23, you just double 23. There we go, 46. And then I just double it again and I get 92. Let me quickly see. Are you guys with me right now? Do you understand what I've said on this screen so far? I need to know before I go on. Thank you, Faith. I see you understand. I hope the rest of you are with me too. I don't want to go too fast. I'd rather go slowly and just finish 1 or 2 and know that you guys are with me. Neo understands as well. Don't worry if you say I don't understand, I won't tell everybody. I won't say your name. Just tell me if you don't understand. Right, I see some people who understand. So the first thing you do when you get any division sum like this is you write clue board, and there you have at least 5 things. You have times 10, times 20, times 5, times 2, times 4. And those things will be easy to get to because I just explained to you. Right, so let's take which of these numbers here on the side is the closest to this number over here, 483. Look at all these numbers, 230, 40, 460, 115, 46, 92. Which one is the closest to 483? There we go. You guys said 460, that is correct. So now I write this out. See there? That same one, 20 times 23, I'm going to write over here. I multiply. Then now I want to see, because 460 is not yet 483. It means I need something more, right? So I'm going to take the big number here, the answer, or the big number that I'm working with, 483, and I'm going to subtract. I'm going to minus this to see what's left. Okay, very easy. I see I have exactly 23 left, and I'm busy with 23. So that's a big plus for me. Then I multiply again, because now I need to get, the first time I needed to get as close as I could to the big number. Now I need to get, because I've minused this and this is what I have left. So I need to get to that number. How do I get to that number? 1 times 23 is 23. And then I deduct. If I get 0 on this side, that means I don't need to go any further. So how do I put this into words? Let me show you at the bottom. I say 483 divided by 23 equals, and here you have your answer. Everything that's here equals 20 plus 1 equals 21. Because here I have 20 times 23 and I have 1 times 23. So actually it's not 20 times 23, it's 21 times 23. And then if you have your answer, so now I know this answer is 21. Your teacher might tell you, okay, show me through multiplication how you test your answer. So I do this. I break it up again. in math, we always have to check, even if we do it a few times just to make sure. So now I'm taking the last two numbers and I'm using multiplication, 21 times 23, but this is also not easy to do, so I'm breaking it up. I'm saying 21 times 20 and 21 times 3. So I have 420 plus 63, and my answer is 483, which is the same as the big number. All right, so this one I know. Check, I've got it. Let's move on to the next slide. I want you to do a few of them, and I see we are running out of time. So what's the first thing I will do? This is your question, 782 divided by 34. Who can remember what's the first thing you need to do? Because some of you will have no clue where to start. There we go. In my clue board, and who was that? Sakura said clue board. Faith already told me the first thing I need to write in my clue board. And then, who was this? Monique said clue board. Yes, we write out our clue board. And what's the first thing I write? The easiest one, 34 times 10. 10 times 34. What's the next thing I write out in my clue board? Remember, now I'm just going to double. There we go, 20 times 34. And how do we get to that answer? We just double this answer. So what is 340 doubled? What is 340 doubled? There we go, 680. So now I have 10, I have 20. Do you think I need to go to 40? Do you think I need to double again? Look at this. I have 782 here. This one's already 680. If I double this, it will be over 1,500. So, I mean, 1,000, sorry guys, it will be over 1,300. So that's way too big. I'm not going to have to double again. I can stop here, and then now I can start with halving. So now I go to 5 times 34. How do I get that answer? Half of what? Half of what? There we go. It's half of 10. Very good, Sakura. So I need to work out what's half of 340, and that is 170. And then you can just see, okay, so maybe I can double 34. I get 68. So 2 times 34, 68. And I can, for this one, I thought it would be best if you can double it again. That's fine. You can write 4 times 34, but I just added another 34 to get to 102. So my clue board has 10, 20, 5, 2, and 3. So what's the first thing we do? We find the number in the clue board that is closest to this one. Who can tell me what it is? There we go, 680. So I write out that sum, 20 times 34 is 680. Then what's the next thing I do? Because now I have 680 over here. This is not the answer yet because it's not big enough yet. I need to do something now. Who can tell me what's the next thing I do? Because the answer is not 20, because if I say 20 times 34, I only get to 680. What do I do now, guys? There's a clue on the screen for you. There's something before I need to multiply again, there's something else I need to do. There's a step in between. So I do something on this side, then I do something on this side. Yes, all right. Hile said, I subtract. So what do I subtract? I take the number here at the top and I subtract what I currently have here on the left. So I say 782 minus 680 equals 102. And this is such good news because one of my clues over here has 102 in it. Which one is it? Come on, guys, this is easy. There we go. Sakura, I can see you understand. And Favor and Bushle. So this one here, right at the bottom, is 3 times 34. And I get to 102. Let me see. If I subtract, so now I see I still have 102 here. But now I got 102 here as well. Will I end up with 0? Of course. So what's my answer? I'm not going to reveal anything. What's the answer? 782 divided by 34. There we go. I see some people are catching on now. Sakura, you've definitely got it. What's the answer, guys? The yellow numbers will give you a clue. So there we go, Oratile and Favor and Jibrail, you've all got it. Bunono, I think you just made a little mistake, but I think you've got it too. So I write it out. I say 782 divided by 34 equals, and then I take these two numbers. I plus them, I add them. Equals 20 plus 3. So the answer must be 23. And then I check it with the opposite. Like Neo said, inverse operation. That is the opposite. Check your calculations by multiplying. So now I take the two small numbers, not the big one. So there's 34 and 23. 23 times 34, and then I break it up like this. 23, I make it easy for myself. So I don't want to work with 34. I just work with 30 and 4. So I say, there's your answer. Right. Here we go. This is the last one we'll have time for today. So I want you all to participate. If you don't know what's going on, just try. Just write something down. You might be correct. And then you'll see if you have some idea, if you have some answer, then you will see where you went wrong. So the first thing I need to do is write out my clue board. Give me the first thing I will write in my clue board. Quickly. Guys, thank you for all my messages. Thank you that you are sending me all these wonderful messages and answers. Now, Faith, before I get to 23 times 20, there's something else that's much easier than that. There we go. Sakura, the first thing, 10 times 23 is 230. And then I double that, right? So then it's 20 times 23. Just check here. I have 460. I need to get to 575. Is it necessary for me to double this number? Because 460 times 2 will be over 900. No, it's not necessary. It's too big. What's the next thing I can write down? I have 10, I have 20. There we go, 5. And if I work with 5, I just work with the top, half that number. You've already done that. 5 times 23 is 115. Yes, Favor and Sakura, then it's 2. And let's go with 4. So I'm doubling that number again. So let's quickly write it here on the left side. Which one is closest to my 575? Which one is closest to 575? There we go. 460. So what do I write out? I write out 20 times 23 equals 460. That's a good start. What's the next thing I do? Now, last time you didn't, most of you didn't know the answer to this question. Let's see who knows it now. What's the next step? So I have 460. We can see it's not enough, right? Because it needs to get to 575. So I still need to keep going. There we go, Sakura, you've got it. Anybody else before I show you the answer? Yes, Oratile? What? You gave me the right command, but what specifically? Write out the sum for me so I can see that you know how to do it. Remember, we do something on this side and we do something on the next side. Just give me 2 minutes, guys, because I want you to understand this before we play our game tomorrow. I subtract. So I take 575 minus the answer that I just got, that is 460. So I get to 115. And what can you see about 115? Look at your clue board. Great, Sakura. I think you really understand this. And Favor. Well done. Right, so I'm going to show it to you just because we don't have time. So I say 5 times 23 equals 115. And so I take what I got on this side and I deduct it from what's here. 115 minus 115 equals 0. So now I know I have enough. I've done enough if I get a 0 on the right side. I write it out. 575 divided by 3, and then I take these two numbers. Equals 20 plus 5. There we go. And I check my answers. So I have to do the opposite, the inverse. I have to do the opposite of what I just did. 25 times 23. And I break this 23 up into a 20 and a 3. And then I work it out like this. And I see, yay, my answer is 575. And that is what I need. Right, so unfortunately, we won't be able to do the next one. But I hope you guys understand a little bit more about multiplication and division after this lesson. So in our next lesson, we will do an assessment on Kahoot. You will have to answer questions on 3D shapes, geometric patterns, numeric patterns, symmetry. I'm not sure if I will put division in because I see some of you still don't understand it. But remember, you need to bring a second device tomorrow. And please don't be late. We will start at 9 o'clock and then I will start giving instructions. I can't give instructions while we are playing the game. So if you are late, you might miss out on the game. Then you can just follow it on the screen. And if you have a second device, it will just make it much easier. If you want to send me a message or see if you can do some of these division sums, there's one for you to work out at home. Let me just go back. You can go work this one out. I didn't give you homework today because we are doing an assessment tomorrow. But if you want to go check, if you want to check for yourself, if you can do it, here's one for you. 860 divided by 43. And those of you who just want to chat with me, you can send me questions or anything on my email address. I really want to meet you guys. Well, I don't have a lot of time with you left, but I'd love to help you where I can. I see my email address is not here today. So those of you who, let me just see who of you want to send me a message quickly and I will, wait, I'm going to send it to all of you on your chat. Then it's easier for you to just email me. There we go, marlet2007@yahoo.co.uk. There's my email address. Now you have it. Right, you can quickly copy it because as soon as this lesson is over, everything will disappear. Right. Okay, guys, it was so nice spending some time with you. See you tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock for our Kahoot. It's going to be a lot of fun. Goodbye.